Greetings and welcome to a Monday edition of the Shotgun Start. It is October 14th. Andy, how we doing?
Brendan, I'd love to say that I'm doing great. I mean, I celebrated Victory Sunday. I was up so early watching football. Victory Sunday. I got a Victory Sunday and a Victory Monday. But I'm sad. I have to start this episode with a deep and very heartfelt apology.
For who? To who?
I have to apologize to all of our listeners because this podcast that prides itself, I mean, this is a place that people come every single week for Champions Tour picks. And we forgot to give our Champions Tour picks last week.
We just didn't do it for the Prestonwood Championship, SAS Championship in Prestonwood, Cary, North Carolina.
Thousands of people were probably lighting money on fire this week. They didn't know. They didn't have their direction on where to go with their Champions Tour bets.
I mean, I got to be honest. They all kind of blend together. It's like Dick Green for you one week, Dick Green for me the next week. Elker, Bernie. Like, it's just kind of did we forget last week or the week? Like, it kind of all blends together, if I'm being honest. So we didn't do it for the SAS Championship.
Didn't do it.
All right.
I'll point out I was on Jerry Kelly a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, sure.
A couple weeks early.
Wisconsin's own Jerry Kelly wins by a shot over Padraig Harrington at the. We're starting with Champions Tour, I guess. I was getting popped for. There's apparently a Padraig Harrington tracker account. Like, come on, tracking Champions Tour like putt by putt. He loses by a shot to Jerry Kelly. Good for Jerry Kelly. Maybe a Hall of Famer based on his Champions Tour work.
You see the odds he overcame to win?
No, what?
He has rheumatoid arthritis.
I mean,
that's why he mysteriously WD'd last week after you picked him, and we couldn't find any information. We learned about it on Monday.
PJ found that information. If there's information to find, PJ will find it. Thank you for that update on Jerry Kelly's WD. Yeah, I mean, that's nothing to shake at. You know, that's a debilitating disease.
It is.
Which makes you wonder, what should this tour exist if the guy is dealing with that and then just comes out and wins? Maybe, like, I don't know. It's bad. It's a tough break. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, you know, he's competing at the highest level.
Can I ask a question? I think this podcast generally believes that the Champions Tour, although it's been a fun bit this fall, the Champions Tour bit
needs to die.
Yeah, we believe it needs to die.
Yeah.
What would you suggest that 40-year-olds do once they're washed? If there's no Champions Tour, what would happen?
I mean, that's an interesting question. It's an interesting, like, I think you have to just bounce around from town to town like Lee Trevino, like hustling people, like back in the 60s. I don't know. I mean, what's the market for this?
Can I provide a solution?
PJ's credential has not been approved yet. We might need to tread lightly here.
Oh my God, I got a text from behind
Phoenix.
the moat this weekend.
Yeah.
About getting PJ on the radar, getting him all the access that he wants.
I love it.
So does that mean I'm going to get approved?
Yeah, you're going to get approved.
Are there like a lot of walls to like break through for access there? Is this like Augusta or something?
PJ, they can't not credential you. If they don't credential you, it'd be a terrible blunder on their part.
We're in a game of chicken with the global home now, because I mean, we have the power of the microphone. They have the actual power of pushing yes or no button.
I mean,
it's electric.
We are the preeminent Champions Tour gambling podcast, even when we forget to do it. So
yeah, I was on Jerry Kelly 2 weeks ago. He says. Yeah, that's your SAS recap. Last regular season event of the year.
Propose what they should do with the 40-plus-year-old wash guys.
Yeah,
just let them play mid-am golf.
Because that's essentially what's going on down there now.
I think that's what's happening. Anyways.
Well, I mean, let's do 20 minutes on the Bridges Cup. Good Lord. Getting a lot of content on the Bridges Cup. Speaking of the mid-ams. That's quite the boondoggle they got going on over there. Just out of pure interest in Jeju Island or whatever it is.
Nine Bridges continues to be one of the top 100 golf courses in the world, according to golf.com.
Which is hosting a boondoggle of a match play event there, which I'm sure is
it looks like it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it looks like a blast. Yeah. I mean, maybe you've got a tidbit here or there that it's a great little scene, boondoggle. Great fun. It looks awesome. But that's the mid-am thing right now. Do you have anything on SAS? PJ, you want to get off here at the beginning?
What do we miss? Starting with SAS.
I do just want to say Ángel Cabrera was a bubble boy coming into this week. I was keeping my eye on it as a big felon? Name. The felon. Off the bubble into the playoff with the solo 4 at the SAS. So coming on strong heading into the playoffs now. But that's what I'm keeping an eye on for Phoenix. I want to go walk with El Pato a little bit.
It could be a Shawshank Redemption moment.
I mean, come on. Let's not launder the image of El Pato. Anyway, I mean, God, the guy's been in jail. He just walks out of prison and just T4s. This is ridiculous. What is this tour?
Makes the playoff. He played like half a year. Makes the playoff.
Preposterous. Should we do swag sports minute here?
I think
Where do we go with swag?
Let's do the PGA Tour. Let's get that off. Then let's go to swag sports minute. Everybody wants to hear about your Browns.
No, there's nothing to say about the Browns.
I want to talk about the potential World Series matchup between you and PJ.
The Bears need to find a team that existed before 1993 and doesn't have a defense ranked in the 30th.
We'll talk about this in a little bit. All right. Don't try
Black Desert Championship.
Just because you got a guy with a noodle arm, don't try and piss
the noodle arm's the last of the least offensive part about the entire thing going on. The Black Desert Championship, Johnny come lately, like the Jaguars franchise, the Panthers, who you've beat up on last 2 weeks. It's inaugural Black Desert, won by Matt McCarty, cousin of Walter McCarty, the great Celtic, at 23 under. Walter. That was my 4 years at BC, just people from Massachusetts screaming Walter at each other nonstop. That was my entire college experience. Matt McCarty wins 23 under, 3 clear of Steven Yeager. This was a 4A fiesta for about 24 hours there on the weekend.
I think McCarty's a big league player.
Well, yes, I'm not lumping him in there. He lifted and separated, and he wins by 3 straight off the battlefield promotion. I think second fastest to win a PGA Tour in terms of starts, third start. He's had prior starts, not as a full-time member, and wins it. Really from day one with the 62. Kind of steers it in.
Awesome win. Makes you think. Makes you wonder. Maybe you should have been playing PGA Tour golf sooner. You know, I feel like people are probably tired of listening to this rant, but you know, I just think that we need to really form a coalition around getting guys up faster. He got really hot this summer. He won 3 times in 6 weeks, got his battlefield promotion. But then it's like, okay, it's the playoffs. It's just like weird, but there should be a way for him to flow up and down. He had to go make sure he got the number 1 spot. So he gets into the players and I think he gets into the PGA US Open as the Korn Ferry number 1 player. So he had to go back and play Korn Ferry Tour for a while. But just in general, McCarty's number 1 on the Korn Ferry Tour list. He comes up in his second start as a member. He wins. Number 2 on the Korn Ferry Tour was in this field also. Those were the only 2 Korn Ferry Tour players. Number 2 on their points list over the last year finished 11th in this event. These guys should be in this field also in all these fall events, duking it out for their priority ranking next year. And the guys should be tiered, just like, number 90 is way ahead of number 150 from the PGA Tour in these fields. Number 1 should have like an equivalency points. It's why the points lists have to be the same. Like they have to be equivalent so that you can just like throw them in there. And it's like, okay, McCarty was 1 on Korn Ferry, which is equivalent to, 100 on the PGA Tour. And now he's up to 70. But like instead, we have this bullshit system where only 2 of the guys from the 30 are in there. And you got Jadon Blake, a 65-year-old, shooting 10 over par. Oh my God,
leave Jadon out of this.
Well, it's just like a microcosm of what's wrong with the tour. Basically,
he beat
like
the pants off Kevin Kisner.
Yeah,
Dustin Volk. Marty Traynor. Marty Traynor. 2 or 3-time winner in Socialist.
Who's Dustin? I'm guessing that Dusty was another
section pro.
Yeah, was another handout. Like again,
elderly, not young. I would say is what I would call Dustin. But yes,
and it's nice to have like Zach Jones and Bowen Moss, these 2 amateurs in it from the area. But guess what? Like those should be Korn Ferry Tour players. They're playing for their job, like spots. Like we saw Korn Ferry Tour players that earned their card and then had like 3 starts by April this year. It's just ridiculous that they aren't in here. And it's like they are ready to go. A lot of these guys would come on and be top 100 players on the PGA Tour, but they are literally fighting uphill. Like it is so hard at this point to move all the way up to the top of the PGA Tour. It is a 3-year process.
Matt McCarty started the year about 430th in the world this calendar year, 2024. He's now, I think he was like 74, I think, this week. Top 100, I want to say. Projected, obviously, probably to shoot up that. I don't know if Nosferatu or anybody's tweeted the updated. I don't think they do.
Nothing yet
on OWGR. So he's rocketing up. It's like you said, he got hot. He's obviously a very high quality player. How many guys would you take off the field to put in Korn Ferry? How many Korn Ferry Tour spots would you put in?
I think I would just put all 30 in. They earned their card, right? If you have earned your card, like the way this fall has to work is it has to be a like put all the guys in there. And if you say there aren't enough spots, take more out of the bottom of the PGA Tour. If you were just flat out awful, have them revoked. But a lot of the guys at the very bottom of the PGA Tour were the guys that got their Korn Ferry card, got their card via the Korn Ferry last year and basically didn't play for a large part of the year. The messed up thing about like the way it's set up now, we just talked about like where would the 40-year-old washed up PGA Tour player go if the Champions Tour didn't exist? But like the Korn Ferry Tour player who earns this card, number 10 on the list right now, doesn't have anywhere to play until roughly
Sony,
February.
Maybe? No, probably not Sony.
Oh, American Express.
Yeah.
The first time they'll play is an American Express. End of January.
Sony, they had to fly out for the seminar and then had to go and didn't get in the field. You get your card in September, and then you don't get to play until end of January. Okay, so you put 30 Korn Ferry Tour players in the field. How many would you make? The field was 132 players. The tour is just throwing this Friday afternoon cut matters. They can't finish. They can't get done. It's nobody's watching. 9:04 local time. The second round concluded Saturday morning. They can't get done. I thought on balance, this was a great and fine event. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to nitpick, but like it's an actual problem. 5 hours today. There were twosomes, not full. It was, 3:35. It was just before 8:30 when it finished.
How about the all lefty final pairing? I wanted to know when was the last time that happened?
Probably Phil with Weir or something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Weir shouldn't have been in the field. Some guy.
No,
I tweeted something about Jadon, and some guy's like, "Why aren't you going after Weir?" I said the same exact logic applies to Mike Weir. You know.
Well, he's got comfort. Is he in the Champions Tour playoffs? Probably finished. You know, had a top 50 finish once, and then I'm sure he could skip the SAS with ease and just go play in Utah. I mean, he's got options.
I did think this event was awesome.
Yeah, I did. The pace of play thing, I don't want to really harp on, but yeah, it's not a good look if you're into the Friday cut in 5 hours today. It's Tuesday, but I thought on balance it was a pretty good event.
Did you see Wes Bryan made an eagle to make the cut?
Yeah, that was
but
cool.
He made it at Saturday morning at sunrise. Nobody's around.
Yes. Did you like the course? We had a lot of coverage of the course at the FriedEggGolf.com and on the newsletter and stuff from Garrett and Matt who went there.
Like, is it a golf course I want to play? No. Do I think it's the greatest golf course in the world? No. Do I think it's a really good PGA Tour course? Yes. Here's what I liked about it. There is enough space so that if you're driving it well, you really can excel. Like, you can
gain an advantage.
Huge advantage if you're driving the ball well. And when I say driving the ball well, it just doesn't mean you're just blasting it far. At most tour courses, just hitting it really far is driving it well. Here, because of, we talked about this in our preview. Because of the lava, because of the black lava off the fairway, like, you have to drive it straight. And they give you a lot of space to drive it straight. But foul balls are just obliterated here. It's like a baseball stadium with really big foul territory. Everything's getting caught. Every pop-up's getting caught. So I would say, and then I thought like some of the greens are pretty cool. Like they are, they have like some small areas like that had some great pins where like really good shots get rewarded. And obviously like McCarty coming down the stretch, drivable par 4. We saw Harris English. You see him in the lava, hitting the ball out of the lava with his feet on the cart path. Didn't get a free drop. Didn't take the free drop. He made like a par, but on the same hole. So that drive like almost made him a bogey or a double or worse. Like,
yep.
But like he hits he scrambled his ass off to make par because of the lava. And then McCarty comes through the same hole, drives it to like 4 feet, makes eagle. Like it rewarded guys that hit great shots. And because of that, I thought the leaderboard like really separated and like it was very clear which players were playing really well.
Yeah, I think, I think they've, to throw the tour a bone, I think they've kind of started to hone in on something with this FedEx Fall or whatever we're supposed to call it now. I think I know you want to get more KFT guys in there. The field's composition could always be changed, but it feels like this might be the start of something there's moderate interest here, right? The wraparound thing I thought was ridiculous. I do think you're playing for that next 10. You have that competition going on to get a Pebble exemption, the closed door party. You've got the card, the chase to keep your card, the 125, the status, the games within the games for status. I think they're fine, like maybe a half decent formula here. They gotta, they could emphasize probably, locations and venues a little bit more, but you take what you can get in the fall. I think in terms of like what you're competing for, they might have found something here in terms of formula. So.
It's a super hard time of year to find good venues.
Sure.
Because like you're dealing with basically like a quarter of the country that's playable after this time of year. Reliably playable after this time of year.
I think Lucas Glover appreciated that. Not sweating through every fiber, in his clothes today. He's cruised in.
Big deal for Atlanta Drive.
I thought he was Jupe Links. No, he's Atlanta Drive. Is that right?
I think he's Atlanta Drive.
So yeah, McCarty is rocketing up the FedEx Cup rankings, 137 spots. He's to 95. He went from 232 to 95. Hasn't played a lot of it in 4 events, 4 starts, 4 eligible
Number one player on the
starts,
Korn Ferry Tour, 232nd in the FedEx Cup.
So that speaks to your sort of transferable points, some sort of transferable point, half a point, 3/4, whatever it is. But he's finds himself right at home on the PGA Tour. A good watch. Do you have any other cleanup? J. Don Blake, was hitting at 300. He won the over by a mile, right? Of 241.
Should have gone score. The shoulder must be unfrozen, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was a live one there Thursday night when he was finishing up. He was a live one. I mean, he was throwing darts. He's making a birdie or two. He was not just some circus sideshow where he's shooting like.
What
in
are
the
you
80s.
talking about? He shot 7. He finished 3 from DFL. He finished 5 shots from DFL.
That's fine. But a lot of these circus acts, I would say, are like 15 beyond second to DFL. He's fine. He was fine. He was fine.
So Jaeger finishes second. He was in the top 50. I do appreciate this, like a guy just coming out to make some money. Like
you appreciate that.
I appreciate. I appreciate.
He's taking a spot from one of your KFT guys. There's literally nothing to play for
fine.
except a little extra cash.
He can come in here and beat up some guys. Okay. I'm so mad I didn't rewind. I didn't hit the 15-second back. I almost put this up on the SGS story. There was a point, I think it was Saturday when I had it on. Jaeger, they showed like a graphic of when they do all the drives, the chart, and then they have like the dots. It's always like Rory that's like 50 yards ahead. It was Jaeger. Jaeger was like 40 ahead of everybody else. It was like the lone dot.
Right? He's just been trying to just jack up the speed, right? For a year now, year or two.
Well, he's having trouble getting it out of the infield in the bigs. I had a buddy
pop to the bat.
I had a buddy. I had a buddy that played college baseball, high level college baseball.
Yeah.
And this was the 2000s. And I was like, "Hey, are any of the guys on the team juicing?" He was, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "How did you know?"
"Oh yeah."
He's like, "Well, so and so. He couldn't get the ball out of the infield."
Yeah.
And literally, we went away for summer. He came back. He's hitting it out of the park. He's got more pop in the bat than anyone now. He's like, so he's definitely juicing
for college baseball. Love it.
That's what Jaeger's doing now. Not juicing.
Wait,
he's
easy.
juicing with his own. But he went from a guy. He went from a guy who couldn't get it out of the infield. He's now blowing it by everybody.
That's fair. It's fair. It's good to see. I mean, he's a legit. He's the GOAT. He's the KFT GOAT in my book. So this is making some good coin. He's secure for next year. This is just free coin or extra coin walking around change at the Utah Championship. All right, that does it for Black Desert. Should we do swag sports
you
minute?
Have anything? You don't got anything? You excited about anything?
No. Thought it was fine. I think they're figuring out the fall deal. McCarty, the people, like it's an easy talking point to holler about. This means these guys should be up here. I do agree. Like I agree with that point. We have always agreed with it. It shouldn't have taken Matt McCarty to win to emphasize that home, right? And he might be a 4A guy. This time next year, his hot streak might be gone. And do you know what I mean? It's hard to judge, to start screaming about how this whole system needs to be overhauled based off of one win. I think, we've argued this based off of much more than that. And we didn't need Matt McCarty's victory today to emphasize it. So
can I get a thirst buck of the week, Salanto Griffin?
Call himself the Scotty Scheffler of made cuts on the number.
Yeah.
I'm glad you saw that. I saw that too. I thought, okay. And just moved on.
See, you're trying to move on. I was
trying to be positive. I was trying to be positive. I'm too negative. We're in this together. I don't want to just pop Lanto. So I just said, I just moved on.
We are in this together.
What did you think of it? You have issues with that? Just extra thirsty?
You know what? I was fine with it until he was like, so Scotty, if you're watching, that's when he lost me.
Yep.
It was just that extra layer of like, oh, you just, so.
I mean, I hope Scotty's not watching, quite frankly. He's not watching random mule press conferences, but maybe he is, Anything else from Black Desert you want to clean up here? You're in on it.
I'm in on Black Desert. Yeah. I'm also in on the time. Like, it was on a great time.
Finishing right before Sunday night, waiting all day for Sunday night. Kind of supposed to sneak in there. It kind of went long, but
Well, once they figure out how to get guys around, a little bit faster.
Rolf was all mad on Golf Channel about how they missed it by 30 minutes, their finish time. Rolf doesn't get mad. He was mad about the pace of play. I enjoyed him.
Jay had to be happy. Use the whole TV window.
What do you think the ratings are going to be? Let's do ratings chat.
Terrible.
That's probably people being too negative. That's why the ratings are down. People aren't being positive enough.
Jadon came out. Jadon brought.
He put the butts in the seats.
God,
more people bought tickets to watch Jadon than probably anyone in this field this week. If you did a survey,
apparently nobody could watch it because it's so hard to walk around out there.
Unnavigable. Yes,
I think that's even better. It's a even bigger positive. There's less TIO out there. There's no TIO for drops. Bo Hostler probably couldn't handle the lava.
Oh, I got a late message from overseas, European Tour correspondent. I use that term loosely. European Tour person, player, caddy, traveling bands. I don't know, ambiguous. Livid about Bo Hostler last week. He goes, "This MFer has made $10 million without ever winning. He's like no tour, like that's his like first claim to fame. $10 million in career earnings without a win." He's like, the entitlement of that, just to say this tree shouldn't exist. Anyways, yeah, the Bo show would have been looking for drops from lava all week if he were out there. Michael Kim got one, as Lamagna pointed out, from a burrowing animal hole or whatever it was. Yeah,
I was laughing like all weekend about Garrett made a little St. George, Utah reel.
Yeah.
And he was, this is where PGA Tour fans will be glued in watching this tournament. The dozens of you watching.
Hey, I thought it was a fine product. Aside from the pace, I thought it was a pretty good product they put out there for October 13th. Not bad. All right. What was also not bad is the Bears are 4-2. Is that accurate? 4-2 now. They've whipped up on the Panthers, Titans, Rams, and today the Jaguars, who just need to throw their coach in the River Thames before leaving town.
You know what?
Here's my take on the Bears.
Good teams do?
Yeah,
they beat up on bad teams.
People have been just feeding me, trying to wind me up to like give you shit about how your team can't beat anybody good and like they've been trying to get me wound up to pop you. I love popping you. It's one of my favorite pastimes. That's why we do this podcast, to pop you. But like, you're not sneaking by these teams by a field goal at the last. You are kicking ass. So what do you want?
And we're beating them up.
You're playing the teams on the schedule.
Did you see?
It's not like you're winning by 7. You're crushing. So it's impressive.
I don't know, as Brooksy would call them. I don't know if you saw the Peas. The Peas today were giving the Falcons problems.
Oh, they did. Okay, I was.
They gave the Falcons. Nobody's saying to the Falcons, you guys are frauds. Like the Panther, you barely beat the Panthers, but the Bears absolutely just kicking their ass.
Yeah,
everybody's coming after us, and you know what?
Kill them.
Like I got some shit on. People were shitting on me on Twitter today about like you're beating bad teams. You know what? Like, guess what? I've seen 30 I'm going to say 30 years. I'm going to disregard my first 8 years of life. I've watched 30 years of shitty quarterback play. You know what? I know what shitty quarterback play looks like against bad
here's
teams.
Where I might tell you to like.
I'm saying against bad
Jets.
teams.
Okay. All right.
Like,
all right.
I've watched bad quarterbacks play against bad teams. And yeah, we still sometimes win by 20, but it's not much different. Like this guy is making some throws.
This guy.
I just am.
He's getting at this guy. I'm
so happy. I'm so happy. And everybody's just trying to tear me down. I'm
happy for you.
I'm a happy boy.
You're doing what you're supposed to do. It's convincing. They also are the bad teams. So just, keep your guard up for when the good teams come. Let's bring PJ in here. I don't even know who's good right now in the NFL. I think it's a lot of dumpy teams. Like
the NFC North is good. Black and blue division. First division with 4 wins each through 6 weeks in like decades, I think it was.
But the Vikings, they could have easily lost to the Jets, who fired their coach like 2 days later. I'm not impressed with like anyone in a major way. I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs.
Well, the AFC is terrible. The AFC is awful. The AFC, it's Chiefs, Ravens, and Houston, and then everybody else is kind of. Buffalo has not looked good. The Jets are bad. Cincinnati's terrible. Like the AFC.
I'm pretty unconvinced by like most of the league right now. Anyways, including the Eagles.
The Eagles are bad. Yeah.
Who had to eke one out. I mean, Andy, you beat the team today. The only team that somehow found a way to lose to Deshaun Watson. Maybe the worst quarterback of our lifetimes, who... I'm at this point a veteran of the youth sports scene, like immersed in the youth sports scene. And
hold on, we could have beaten them by 50 points if we wanted to. Like we didn't just like slip past them. We kicked the shit out of them.
Yeah, I mean they're just a broken team. They've given up. They're bad with coach. They're bad. I mean,
but anyway, what were you saying about
you get the strategic sports group while they're down there to look into some things with the Jaguars. I've been immersed in the youth sports scene. What's going on right now with the Browns and Deshaun Watson reminds me of like when the coach's kid is the quarterback or the point guard, or there's some like deeply political reason, and like. Everybody's watching. It's not going well, but like the coach's kid, you kind of maybe feel bad. You don't feel bad for Deshaun, but like there's an explanation. It's youth sports, but someone's better. But you realize why they're just throwing their head against the wall over and over again because he's a coach. This is essentially we are being held hostage. I don't know by whom in the Browns organization. They've already said first question after every game is he the starter? Yes. We're not discussing this anymore. We've been held hostage. Essentially, he's the coach's son who's just going to throw the ball into the ground over and over and over again. Get skittish at the first sight of an opposing helmet, just start dancing around and launch it hither and yon. He's the most unprofessional quarterback I've seen in the Browns in years, and I've seen many, many. Spurgeon win. To name one, Derek Anderson, Brandon Whedon, they were among the better ones, if we're being honest. Deshaun Kaiser, I think this kind of reminds me of that experiment.
Deshaun Kaiser era.
Our team is not good. We scored no offensive touchdowns today. It's just, I haven't seen this in the NFL where you are essentially, someone is holding your entire organization, your progress hostage, and you cannot
because it's a guaranteed contract. So, we'd never seen that in the NFL either.
Leroy Bickerstaff, he's the coach's kid. Can't change it. He's just going to ride it until he's injured or suspended, apparently. I don't know. It's not good.
What if the offensive line just started letting guys go unblocked, trying to get them injured?
I mean, that wouldn't be very professional either. They kind of do. I mean, they're bad all around. Anyways, I barely watched today. I barely invested. I was just riding high after my Guardians beat the Tigers to advance, and I really didn't engage much with the Browns today, if I'm being honest.
I was getting ready. I was gearing up, lacing up. I had a big day after the Bears game. Do you know where I went today, Brendan?
Pumpkin patch, I'm going to guess.
You're right.
I knew it.
Was lacing up for the pumpkin patch. Authentic pumpkin patch. I saw pumpkins being grown there.
Yeah. Love that.
It was a good pumpkin patch, to be honest. It was a little hotter than we expected it to be. We were roasting out there. But anyways, the
good pumpkin patch. We should get golf.com to do pumpkin patch ratings. It could be bought off, co-opted for that.
I blazed it up. I got like 10 minutes. I popped the Browns game on. I got to watch a good 3 and out. It was just a dumpster fire.
It's bad.
It's terrible. They got backed up. It was like 3rd and 25. Just awful.
We get to the 3-yard line again to tie the game. Like false start, timeout, false start. Like we have to kick a field goal. Eagles get the ball and just make like 3 first downs and run out the clock. And that's just we're terrible. We're a bad team. I love that I don't have to care. And by mid-October, I love it.
Hey, what happens if you guys get a playoff, the World Series as Guardians Mets?
Well, I think it'd be lovely. I think it'd be fun. I think this is now the 2 longest droughts, World Series championship droughts, I believe. Obviously, the Cubs took care of that one to make us the longest. And I think it's now the Mets, I believe. When was the last Mets World Series?
86.
86. I think that's right.
That's it? I think it's 86 is the second longest?
Well, there are a couple teams that haven't won. I don't know if you include that in a drought because
like the Rockies
drought if it hasn't happened.
Right.
So
right.
I don't think the Rockies will ever win one.
I mean, I'm sure they'll win at some point, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
1948 for us.
They haven't ever been close to winning.
They lost in the World Series in 2000.
Yeah, they lost to the Red Sox. 4 games.
Oh, wasn't a lot. That was Tulowitzki, right?
Matt Holliday.
Matt Holliday.
Yeah.
When was Tulowitzki? That was the teens, right?
Yeah, it was like early 2010s, 12s.
I think it might have been Ubaldo Jimenez, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Could be wrong on that one. All right. That does it for swag. Do we want to talk about Mets? PJ, you happy?
Clock's playing right now.
Score right now. I believe it's 6-0. So we're moving to Monday afternoon by the time you listen to this. We're on to Cincinnati.
All right, we're on to New York. We're on to the Bronx. Taking on the little engine that could.
What do you think Frankie Sappin did this weekend? What do you think he's a football fan?
He's from the South, right? Isn't he from North Carolina, I want to say?
He's from Minnesota. He went to Florida Gulf Coast. Though.
That's right. Where did I get the... I don't know. What do you think he did?
Should have been playing golf, and underrated thing about McCarty, maybe why he's playing so well. He lives in Chicago. I mean, he's excited about Caleb.
This is a town you abandoned for Central California. So good you couldn't stay there anymore. Had to leave for greener pastures.
I'll always be a Chicagoan.
It is the headquarters of Swag Golf. And this is Swag Sports Minute. You can procure your specialty swag items. They got team items. You got a lot of demand for the Ditka head cover.
I gave it away. I gave it away to podcasts who mentioned that he goes to football games dressed up as Ditka.
I got a fair amount of feedback about sort of the over memorialization of Ditka, right? But he's an icon at this point. You cling to what you have, and you have a World Series with it, or a World Championship with him.
Got my Illinois one.
Oh, that's pretty good. You barely beat Perdon't. Barely.
Hey, listen, no pictures on the scorecard. We might. I think we're the best 1-loss team out there.
Okay, better than Alabama. Better than Ohio State.
Yeah.
Better than Georgia.
Ready to go. We're a CFP contender still.
All right.
We got Michigan next week.
Go to swag.golf. You can find team head covers, these are hot. I mean, they do these drops that sell out, but they've got a new website to provide a little bit more inventory. A lot of character over there. They've got Halloween drops, it looks like, coming this week. Halloween
probably some spooky head covers.
I mean, the Halloween stuff's out of control, Andy. I did more Halloween decorations than I do for Christmas.
What are you dressing up? What are you dressing up as for Halloween? What do you got?
No, I don't know yet. We got to get in the lab and come up with some golf ideas. You know, people spend more on Halloween decorations now than Christmas. It's out of control. But yeah, they've got Halloween drops at swag.golf. Thanks to them for Swag Sports Minute. Let's continue on. On the European Tour, Dan Bradbury, Fahrenheit.
Ray Bradbury's kid.
The Martian Chronicles, anchoring away. A lot of hollering about anchoring. He makes 4 birdies on the back 9, gets to 16 under and holds off Jeff Winter, who just sounds like a lefty out of the pen. Jeff Winter, come on. He played for the Expos in the 1990s. Denmark's Jeff Winter, who shot 64 in the final round, beats him by, I think, 2. Dan Bradbury wins on the FedEx.
And Piss Bear. Piss Bear was second, too.
He was T2, yeah.
They beat him by 1. Piss Bear had a chance.
I mean, this is like the all-time 5-year run for Le Golf National. I feel like I've had more Le Golf National in my life than I ever anticipated. And I expect it will just, go away after the Olympics. I think it's just, I don't think I'm going to think about it much anymore.
Somebody messaged me about how much it's on TV, yet it's like, I feel like it was like, I feel like I've watched like 10 tournaments at like Golf National.
Yeah.
Yet I can only remember the 18th hole.
The waters. Yeah. I mean, then you had Bradbury. He was hitting one from below the line, the red line. He went too far right, almost shot it into the water. It just, that's it. It's those last like 4. But for some, the last one. He wins. Congrats to him. His second win after the Joburg Open last year. That was decent coffee golf. Not the best. Justin Rose finished, I want to say T13, somewhere in there. Elsewhere in golf, at the LPGA Buick Shanghai, Ruoning Yin just destroys the field on the weekend. She's former world number 1. She went 63-64 at Kuzon Garden Golf Club, bogey-free in her last 50 holes. Said this was as meaningful, I believe, as her major, her women's KPMG, because she's doing it at home, in China. It was emotional.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. And I think there's also like something that people don't necessarily talk about a lot with golf is like the LPGA and the PGA Tours are predominantly based in America.
Yeah.
When they have tournaments in China, the Americans will, or China or Japan or Australia or Korea, the Americans inevitably will talk about how big of an adjustment it is because they don't speak the language, the time zone difference, like the golf is different, like the air and how golf courses play, the grasses are different. Like I would venture to say that a lot of like the top 30 in the world, like if you just move the tour to predominantly some other country, and obviously like I'm not saying China, but like, China probably doesn't have the golf courses to have a sustainable tour, but it would look a lot different. And Ruoning Yin, one of the best players in the world, probably was the most comfortable playing in China, Does that make sense? Like when your life is easier, getting to and from the course, like, eating meals, everything, like that all impacts how you play golf.
Sounds like a good reason your life. Sounds like a good reason to give J. Don Blake an exemption this week.
That's right.
Hometown favorite. Easy
That's
commute.
Why he would have played better than. That's why he finished third from last instead of dead last.
Martin Traynor, who had to fly from Paris, Charles de Gaulle to get there. All right, yeah. By the way, interesting.
That would suck for Martin Traynor. That sucks.
I mean, I think he's suffered far more indignities over the last 4 years on tour. He's won, and then he comes and goes for Marty. The one thing I found interesting about Ruoning Yin.
Honestly,
What?
There should be, if you're going to bring Jadon in, there should be legit penalties when guys lose to him.
Your status is like knocked down a peg from whatever, your reshuffle. Yeah.
If you want me to get in on Jadon, then everybody who Jadon beats,
I love that.
Like, doesn't get to play on tour for a year or something.
Ruoning Yin said she called her coach in California in the middle of the event. It was like, I can't find the fairway. I'm really struggling with my driver. I don't know what to do, or, I'm struggling. And she shoots 63 and 64. She said that's all she needed. Kind of interesting. Different strokes for different folks. But like usually if you see the guy grinding with the coach mid-tournament, you're like, oh shit, that guy's like toast. What are they doing? It's an interesting, interesting element, obviously, to being a professional golfer. Because clearly something changed. Clearly. I wouldn't say that was the precipitating cause. That's why she shot 63, 64. But just to call the coach, do this, do that, boom, gone.
I mean,
I always wonder what pitching coach visits to the mound, is that those materially matter? But I guess it depends. Depends on the person. And this was Ruoning Yin, coach tip, mid-tournament.
Maybe that coach should be number 1 in the Golf Digest rankings for that over the phone lesson.
1/6 is what you want. I think that covers everything.
Are you worried about Blackburn's top spot in the rankings this year?
No, well, he doesn't have
Morikawa left.
Morikawa. I'm not worried about it. I think he's probably a very good coach. The ranking.
You think he's still going to be at the top? Do you think they have to change it?
Yeah,
probably. Because they get a new cover boy.
Yes.
Or gal.
Yes.
So they inherently have to change it every year.
You would think probably for a while there they would have Butch would be every other year. Well, we did you last year, so you got to come back next year. You're going to be top rank. This year we're going to give it to McLean or something like that. So, Ledbetter, something like that. So, all right, I think that does it. I have no news. Light week in golf, in my opinion.
No news.
Black Desert was good. I didn't see anything out there. We could make something up if you want.
No, I think we hit it all. Apologies again about not getting you your champs picks.
Yeah.
We'll be better next week.
We'll be on. I think they're coming to my neck of the woods. I think they're coming to Richmond. So
are you gonna go down?
I'm not. I've had some overtures about coming down. I don't think I'm gonna make it. It's the worst road in America. Interstate 95 between DC and Richmond. Literally the worst traffic in America.
Is it busy?
Yes, it's terrible.
Why?
It's terrible. I just expansion, suburban, exurban.
Does
expansion.
it just go all the way down there? Are there just people all the way down?
It's pretty much traffic almost the entire way now at this point.
How far is it?
I mean, it's for me, it's 2 hours. I guess I get around the Beltway. It should be 90 minutes. It's just traffic the whole way.
So Richmond's a suburb of DC.
I wouldn't. That's not going to work some people up. No, Richmond's
like Milwaukee. Milwaukee is just a suburb of Chicago.
Anyways, I don't think I'll be going. I think is it the Dominion Energy something or other charity classic? I don't know, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be going there.
Would you consider Philly a suburb of New York?
I wouldn't consider it a suburb, but people do commute it, so I think it's an interesting discussion.
It's just a suburb of yours.
I mean, it's not. If it's commutable, if people do it, I feel like it falls in the bucket.
You know people who commute. Personally know people.
Oh yeah, I know some people that commute
from Philadelphia into Manhattan or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They take the Amtrak.
Yeah, sure.
It's like a 90-minute train, right?
Yeah, it's not terrible, but yeah. All right, everyone enjoy your Mondays. We'll be back with you on Wednesday to talk Champions Tour picks, among other things. Shriners, you got Shriners coming. Tom Kim going for the three-peat. Three-peat.
Well, he's mad too. He's mad. He's fired up.
Why is he mad about getting his ass kicked in
He's still
Montreal?
hot from the Peak Cup.
All right. Everyone enjoy your Mondays. We'll talk to you then.